Well, good evening. It's 8th of November, 17, almost the 9th. I was listening to the news, and I guess they had a big old rally for the progressive folks to go to parks and all get together and scream at the moon, and I guess that helped them out, kind of a therapy thing. It's hard for me to get my head around the craziness that's going on, but also in the news today, where there was this Judge Moore, the guy running for Senate down there in Alabama, and they found women from 38 years ago accusing him of, I don't even know what. There wasn't even any, well, 3 of them, there wasn't even anything sexual other than kissing, and the other one, I don't even know what to call that. But it's real convenient the way the Washington Post came up with these women. And the House Republicans are ready to jump on it. I think they're having trouble because they didn't get their butt boy in there, Luther Strange or whatever his name is. Anyways, tonight I just want to talk to y'all about what I think went wrong, and I'm going to start with the 17th Amendment to the Constitution. I'm going to give you a brief overview of what the Founding Fathers had in mind. They call the Senate the upper house, the upper chamber, but only because where they met in Philadelphia, the senators met up in the top, and then the people's house, or the House of Representatives, met in the lower chamber. It has nothing to do with which one's more important. The difference between the two was the representatives, and there's 435 of them, and there's districts. And the state that I live in now, I'm not ashamed to say I live there, because it's a beautiful state. It's just full of really wacko people. I live in Vermont, so there's only one congressional district. I lived in New Hampshire for a while, and there's 2. And it goes by population, and then there's all this things that they can do when they get in bigger states to make sure they stay in power. But the way this was set up was your representatives were elected by the people in the state. You get a Democrat, a Republican, or I guess back in the day it was Whigs and Democratic Republicans, or it doesn't matter. But the people in the state would vote, or in that district would vote, to send their representative to Congress. So it's a beautiful system the way it was originally set up. And then each state had 2 senators, and they weren't elected by popular vote. The state legislatures would look around amongst their people, and they could send 2 guys down there, right? And right now that means there's 100 of them. 50 states, 2 each. But they weren't voted for by the populace, the state legislature. So you got to look at it this way. the people were represented. The state was represented, the governor and the legislature, so they could immediately recall. If they sent their representative down to Washington and they told him, you have to do it this way, and he didn't, they just get together and say they'd recall him, and you're out of a job, Senator. And it's a big deal because senators are elected to the representatives are voted 2-year terms and the Senate's 4-year terms. So it's a good thing to be able to, for the state and the governor to be able to say, all right, you're not representing us, you're representing California, and you're selling out to Nancy Pelosi, and you're fired, and we'll send somebody else down there. And if they screw up, we'll just call them back too. So that's the 17th Amendment that made the Senate popular vote. And what's happened now is you get a lot of money coming from other states electing your senator. A guy like Bernie Sanders doesn't have to get a nickel from me. The progressive, the liberals, he's a socialist, by the way, but which tells you, I mean, he runs as a socialist, but he fits so nice and neatly into the Democrat Party. He gets whatever he wants with them. Tells you where their head is, right? If just as an aside, look at how many people were killed under socialist, the socialist communist. It's a sizable amount. If you want to see it in action, Google Venezuela, Cuba. I mean, you can point to these places and see what socialism, communism, state-run things, what it devolves into. And it's always the next set of people that are going to run it that is going to make it better. So, only thing I want to leave you with is I'm an advocate for a convention of the states, and the libs will say it's a constitutional convention. It isn't. If you're interested, Google Convention of the States, and we need to get some of the power out of the hands of people that want to rule us and not be our servants. And that's I'm going to leave you with that, because that's enough to digest. The 17th Amendment to the Constitution is a big problem. It made the balance tipped in the wrong direction. The state needs representation. The people need representation. And sometimes they don't. I mean, why do we need senators if we're just going to... Why don't we just have, in my state, why don't we just have 3 reps? There's a reason we have a Senate. There's a reason we have a House of Representatives. But the line was blurred with the 17th Amendment to the Constitution, and I behoove you to research it a little bit, Google, and think about it. Or you could just go out and stand in the parking lot and scream at the sky. I scream at the television, but not the sky. All right, my friends. Captain Seeker, wishing you a safe, happy, good night, and God bless America, and pray for your country, pray for your friends, your family, and your enemies. Be even those people in Washington. Good night.